everybody, Nicki Lis here. So today I'm going to answer this question for you. What is a narcissist? Right? So I ask this, or I talk about narcissism a lot on my page, and I get a lot of feedback whenever I post things about narcissism. So I just want to make it clear what I'm talking about when I refer to a narcissist. We use the word narcissist a lot in our society. I feel like I hear people talk about it all the time, and I hear, he's such a narcissist, she's such a narcissist. When somebody does something that's self-absorbed, it's inconsiderate of others, and yes, that is what. But when I'm talking about narcissism, I'm talking about something deeper than that. So let me talk to you about what that means. There is such a thing as healthy narcissism, and there's such a thing as pathological narcissism. And narcissism actually happens on a continuum. It's sort of a spectrum of sorts. We all have some element of narcissism within us. What does that mean? We're all selfish sometimes, and that's okay. We all do things that doesn't consider others at times, and that's okay, as long as it doesn't impact others in a negative way. But when we're talking about pathological narcissism, we're talking about doing things to meet your own needs and being completely inconsiderate of the people who it may affect, and even going so far as to hurt those people to get your own needs met. So what does healthy narcissism look like? Well, we all have healthy narcissism. So for example, I'm looking down a little bit here because I have some notes. I like to always keep notes so I can stay organized when I'm talking to you guys. So if I'm looking down, that's why. So what does healthy narcissism look like? For example, it's knowing that you're beautiful and owning it and being okay with that, or knowing you're intelligent and owning it and enjoying it. That's sort of an element of narcissism. Making decisions that make you happy and not caring what other people think. That's narcissism. So how can you make a decision that meets your own needs and your own desires and doesn't consider other people's needs, but it's still healthy and okay? Well, let me give you an example. Let us say you're about to buy your first car. You're single, you have the money to buy the car, you're not asking anybody else for their help, nobody else is going to drive the car but you, and you want to get the car of your dreams. Your friends may think it's a bad idea, they may think it's too expensive, it doesn't make sense, the car you want, it's not practical, but it doesn't matter because they're not driving the car, and it doesn't impact them, it only impacts you, so you're going to do it. That's narcissism, but that's okay. And it's actually healthy because it's a good thing to every once in a while do things, or not even necessarily every once in a while, but it's okay to do things for ourselves, and it's a healthy thing actually. It builds confidence and it makes us feel good about ourselves to do things for ourselves, and that's okay. So what is pathological narcissism? When I'm talking about pathological narcissism and the things that I'm talking about when I post about narcissism, I am talking about the completely other end of the spectrum. I'm talking about selfishness, yes, making decisions that meet your own needs and wants, but this is when these decisions do impact others and the person doesn't care. It could impact their decisions could impact other people negatively, and they don't care. It doesn't matter to them if it impacts the other person negatively, as long as they get what they want. That's unhealthy narcissism. And at the very, very, very end of the pathological narcissism spectrum are three disorders specifically. One is narcissistic personality disorder. The second is called borderline personality disorder, which I know many of you are familiar with both. And the third, which you're also many of you are familiar with, is called antisocial personality disorder. And sometimes we call it a sociopath. That's usually the term people use. Those three disorders are highly narcissistic. They're rooted in narcissism. They're rooted in getting that person's own needs and desires met, regardless of anybody else. They always put their own needs before everybody else's. They don't care if you care. It doesn't matter to them. They don't have the empathy to care. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about narcissism. They put their own needs above others all the time. And they're willing to hurt other people to get their own needs met. So they're willing to manipulate, to lie, to step on whoever, to get what they want. That is pathological narcissism. They really, really don't care. They may notice that you have other needs, that you have needs, and that maybe you're a partnership. Let's use the example of buying a car. It's not the greatest example, but it's sort of a simple example. If you're buying a car with your spouse and you want this car and she wants that car, I guess I'm using a guy as an example, and you don't really care what she thinks, you're going to buy the one you want anyway. That's not healthy. That's narcissism. And it's not healthy either, because it's going to affect the relationship in a negative way. So, how does somebody become pathologically narcissistic? Well, it goes back, way back to when we're born. When we are born, we are all narcissistic. That is part of being an infant. So when you're an infant, you don't know anything, right? All you know is that when you're uncomfortable, you want to be comfortable. So you cry. You cry when you're hungry. You cry when you're tired. You cry when something doesn't feel right. You cry all the time. And as soon as your needs get met, you don't even really care who meets those needs. You're good. You're content. You might smile. You might laugh. You're happy. And that goes on until children are 2, 3, sometimes 4 years old. And that's all a normal part of development. And many of you have kids that you're around that are this age, or had kids that are this age. Maybe you're teachers, you maybe nurses, doctors, like you're around kids, right? And you see this in kids. So a 2-year-old may be talking on the phone. I've seen this with my own kids. They're talking on the phone at this age, and maybe they're talking to grandpa on the phone. And they say, "Grandpa, look at my picture." And they'll show the phone the picture. They don't understand. Grandpa can't see the picture. Because in their world, whatever they see, everybody else can see. They don't get it. They don't totally get it. And that's okay, because that's a totally normal part of development. And what else do? They fight for what they want, right? So if a toddler wants to play with their favorite truck in preschool, and their little friend wants to play with the same favorite truck, do they care? Probably not. If they see their friend with their favorite truck, they're going to take the truck, they're going to yell, "Mine!" They're going to do whatever they can to get the truck, and if somebody tells them they can't have the truck, they may have a complete meltdown, screaming, crying, the whole bit, because all they want is the truck. And they don't have empathy. They don't understand that that other person wants the truck too, just as badly as they do, and that's okay. They don't understand that yet. So what do? As adults, we go in there and we teach them. We teach them how to take turns. We teach them that the other person wants a turn with the truck too. We teach them how to share, right? If there's one last cookie, we teach them to break the cookie apart. Or we teach them that last time you had the last cookie, so this time they get the last cookie. We teach them these things. And most of us can understand that. And we may not have empathy while we're learning it. We just do it because we have to. But as time evolves, we learn empathy. And then we start taking turns and sharing because we want to. Because we want to connect with people. And we want to care about what they think and what they feel. So we share. And we take turns. And we consider their feelings and their needs and their wants. And that is super healthy as we get older. But for some people, they get stuck. There are a variety of reasons why they get stuck. But they get stuck. And they don't learn empathy. And what they learn is not much. They just continue to sort of stay in this almost toddler mentality. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but if we're looking at it in a developmental way, that's their mentality still. It's, I want what I want, and I don't really care what you want. That is a pathological narcissist. And that is what I'm referring to when I'm talking about a narcissist. And going forward, when I talk about narcissism, this is really what I'm talking about. So I just wanted to make that clear, and I was thinking about it, and I realized, not everyone is really understands the depth of what I'm referring to as a therapist when I say narcissism. So I thought this would be helpful, and if you have any questions, comments, just anything, any of your own experiences that you want to comment below, I always encourage that. I love that. I love it when you guys share. I appreciate it, and I find it a privilege to be here for you. So I also post these videos on my website, NickiLis.com, NICKILIS.com. and you can see them there. And then there's more information on how you can contact me. And if you're in the area, you can certainly call me to make an appointment as well. So that's it for today, and I hope you have a great evening. All right, take care.